Well, ladies and gentlemen, she's done it. Candace Owens has returned to the internet after surviving Thanksgiving weekend. Oh, no, sorry. I mean, she survived an assassination plot carried out by the leaders of the French government. Let's dig into it. Now, you might think, if you're like me, that if you had evidence that a foreign government was paying to assassinate you, that you might want to present that. You might want to bring that out publicly, especially if you claim, as Candace does, that the FBI are not doing anything about it. You might think, hey, let's get this out, let's get this public. But no, not if you're Candace. Apparently, it's really important that instead we're going to devote this time to talk about the French companies that own businesses in Delaware for 20 minutes. I wish I was making that up, but we'll come back to that. Because if you thought for a second that Candace was making all of this up just so she could make money and views on her podcast, well, she's got some choice words for you.
Foremost, if you were one of the people online who believed for a single second that it was even a remote possibility that I simply made up a French assassination attempt heading into Thanksgiving week, I don't know, for like attention or something, I sat around and I said, I'm just not getting enough attention. How can I start a global conversation about me? And then I came up with this idea of creating fan fiction where I imagined myself as the victim of a multinational state plot to murder me.
Yes, absolutely, Candace. I absolutely, without a doubt, think that you personally did this to generate more attention for yourself. That's what I think.
Now, going back to November 25th, I obviously tweeted exactly what I was informed. Okay, I'm going to read that tweet to you in its entirety. Urgent. 2 days ago, I was contacted by a high-ranking employee of the French government. After determining this person's position and proximity to the French couple, I have deemed the information that they gave me to be credible enough to share publicly in the event that something happens. In short, this person claims the Macrons have executed upon and paid for my assassination. Yes, you read that correctly. More specifically, that the green light was given to a small team in the National Gendarmerie Intervention Group. I am told there is one Israeli that is on the assassination squad and that plans were formalized. Again, this person provided concrete proof that they are well placed within the French government apparatus. Further to this point, this person claims that Charlie Kirk's assassin trained with the French Legion 13th Brigade with multi-state involvement. Journalist Xavier Poussard's life is also at risk. This is deadly serious. The head of state of France apparently wants us both dead and has authorized professional units to carry this out. I ask that every person retweet and share this. I do not know who in the American government can be trusted since this source claims that our leaders are aware. But I have more specific information, which is definitively verifiable, should they care to reach out to me.
Now, you might notice, if you're like me, that all of these things she's just said is still not evidence of anything she has claimed so far.
And to the brave official in France who did this because they were so moved by the evil of Charlie's public execution to risk their own life, may God bless you truly.
Now, I also think that it's kind of suspicious that apparently this totally real source high up in the French government with connections to the first couple, somehow they're concerned enough to contact Candace and provide her with this evidence that she can vet, so she knows it's legit. So she's got this evidence that she could present at any time. However, for the sake of this person, then neither of them decided that they want to go public. Like, obviously, they have this evidence proving that they're guilty, proving that all this is legit and above board, but we can't go public with it, guys. We can't. That's just something we wish we could, but no, we've got to protect our sources. We've got to protect, and like, surely if you were this person high up working with the leaders of a government and you knew that they were actually evil, lying to the world about who they were, and that they were also paying assassins to take out podcasters on the other side of the world, maybe you'd want to go out publicly and just like, hey, I don't want to be close to these people. They're going to try to assassinate me next. I'm just going to get this out, get this public. But no, that's not what we're happening here. So, but anyway, that's all right. Candace definitely does not address any of this, so you're okay.
I got even more specific. right? I said there was a paper trail that Macron allegedly paid $1.5 million. And I am saying allegedly because until I can physically see with my own eyes inside of these accounts and verify the transfer of that payment, it's of course alleged.
It's funny how much she said she has this concrete evidence and proof that she can provide to the FBI. At the same time, she says, allegedly, because unless I have actually seen this, the funds go through, I can't prove this. It's like, either you have the evidence or you don't, Candace. Stop playing both sides of this.
You have to assume that I got this information from somebody. Now, if you are the first man of France, that would be Brigitte Macron, and you are currently suing a podcaster in America named Candace Owens for defamation, for telling the truth, right? And the story that you are trying to sell to the public is that you were really deep down in your heart, you really believe that you are a woman and Candace is just crazy and desperate for clicks and willing to defame you for money. Wouldn't this be the opportunity, if you're the French couple, to come out and to prove your point, to make a stunning and a swift statement, right? That would be what I would say you should do if I'm advising you from a PR standpoint.
This is unbelievable. In the court of Candace Owens, if you choose to be silent, to not respond to her claims, then you are absolutely guilty. Of course, if you do respond to her claims, she's also going to refute them because she has these inside sources that she can't name, but they've provided concrete evidence to her that she has vetted that proves you're wrong. In other words, there's no winning in responding to Candace. The best option for you is to just ignore her.
And a week later, this is the official White House response. So what are we to make of that, you guys? Did I report it to the White House? Of course I reported it to the White House. Did I report it to the FBI? Of course I reported it to the FBI. You think I'm just doing that because I'm assuming you could get a felony for making something up out of thin air like that? You can't just use United States resources to go after somebody in a plot that never existed that you did for clicks on YouTube.
That's a really interesting admission there, Candace. So you're aware that you'd probably be up for felony charges if you were wasting the FBI's time for providing false evidence of an assassination plot.
But the FBI left me on red. And I will say I didn't go through an official channel and send an email, and I should do that. But I did send a text message to somebody very high up who received the text message. No response.
But then also you admitted that you didn't actually directly go to the FBI. You sent a text message. So therefore you didn't go through the official channels, so you couldn't be charged for wasting their time because you didn't lodge an official complaint. Interesting. I'm just asking questions here, Candace. I'm just asking questions. That's what we do, right? We just ask questions. We question back and forth, you know. And now that I've asked the question, if you don't respond to me personally, therefore you're guilty. That's how it works, right?
I'm actually surprised Tyler Robinson's lawyer hasn't reached out to me. What's going on here?
So, wait, hold on. Just back up again. The lawyer for Tyler Robinson has not contacted you once. But I thought you had evidence, Candace. I thought you proved all this. Like, we just know from, you know, your vibes. Like, we know. Isn't that your whole thing? You telling me that the legal representation for the man facing assassination charges for Charlie Kirk, he didn't take your vibes as evidence? Why wouldn't he believe you, Candace? I don't understand. So then anyway, after all this avoiding all the actual answering or providing any evidence for this assassination plot that she put out there to the world, then like I said, Candace spends 20 minutes talking about the French companies, well, actually not even French American companies that own buildings all around Delaware, because an office that contains some lawyers that work for her in the case against Brigitte Macron also houses the FBI, but more importantly, there is a company, a French-American company that owns this building and a bunch of buildings around it.
France has effectively been running the streets in Wilmington, Delaware since like before the Revolutionary War, okay? Let's just start with a very basic history recap from this person's email. It all checks out. We don't need to get too deep in here. And this is across from 920 North King. It starts with a huge construction site. There's a huge construction site right across from there. And there's a long red crane that he points out. I'm going to show you that crane right now because this person sent videos because LOL, anybody thought that moving. But actually, I love it. It just pissed him off. And now he's really on the ground. You can see that crane up there. And that's just a reference point to what he's speaking about so that you can follow along here. That crane is situated on 1100 North King Street. Let's bring up the map here so you can see what's going on here, okay? What I found on 1100 North King Street is the actual building is called the Brace Bridge Complex. It spans over 1 million square feet. It seems it was originally built for the Maryland Bank as their bank headquarters from 1995 until 2006 when Bank of America.
And therefore, the only logical explanation for all of this is that the French own everything in Delaware and that Candace is being set up once again by the French. Okay. So yeah, really that's it. She just talks around in circles all about the French connections, and the French obviously are involved in the plot to assassinate Charlie Kirk. They were involved, it's all behind them, and they're coming after Candace now because she is aware that Brigitte Macron is actually a man. Yeah, okay. By the way, just one other little piece of tidbit that I have to bring up here. If Candace Owens was right, and the Macrons are going after her for exposing the truth, as she claims, then why in this defamation case did Candace attempt to have the case dismissed? And this was on the grounds that the Macrons were upset the defendants, Candace Owens, produced an opinion-based series discussing the Macrons' relationships, their families, histories, and their rise to fame. Once again, I'm just going to highlight opinion-based series, not factual, and that Candace has the First Amendment rights to produce such content since our nation's founding. So, just to clarify, when push comes to shove in a court of law, Candace was attempting to have the case dismissed because she has the right to say these things even if they're false, not because it's not defamation because she's correct and this is facts. So, once again, Candace has things that she says on her show, and then things that when she actually push comes to shove and she has to produce facts, it's a completely different story to what she says. Anyway, that's all we've got time for tonight, but please, I will be back again. I know we've got so much more to cover with her.